Right, our top story this hour takes us to Zimbabwe, and the latest out of the country is that 10 provinces under the control of the ruling Zanu-PF party have adopted a resolution that President Robert Mugabe must go. These are the same structures that endorsed his wife Grace for the position of vice president only 10 days ago. Meanwhile, a media clampdown has started in the country. Members of the international media already in the country have been deported, and an SABC news team has been refused entry into the country. For a little bit more on this developing situation, I'm now joined on the line by our correspondent in Harare, Effort Musekiwa. Effort, perhaps let's start there with the situation of journalists. It seems that the authorities don't want too much more coverage.
I think it emanates from what the generals highlighted in their initial brief, that they wanted responsible reporting. So I think it also still has the authorities on the edge. They are not sure what journalists will be reporting on. I think about 2 days ago, we had an incident which we witnessed of the Sky News crew who came in and started reporting that they were being chased by the military, which really was, all I can say was fabrication, because none of that did take place. So I think they are just trying to make sure that they manage the situation. I'm sure you also understand that the tensions and the activities, things seem to be going against President Robert Mugabe. You know, structures are mobilizing, the Zanu-PF ruling party is mobilizing, you know, the war veterans are mobilizing. So really, I think they are just trying to be extra careful to make sure that the wrong information is communicated from Zimbabwe, Peter.
So these votes of no confidence from the various provinces, are they preparing themselves for an impeachment process should the president not step down voluntarily?
I think from what I've read, what the provinces are declaring is that some provinces have actually called for an emergency central committee meeting to be convened in 48 hours. So the impeachment talk is for Tuesday. So whatever happens, even if the provinces manage to meet, if the central committee meets before the 48 hours, they would have recalled President Mugabe from his current position, because they are now saying because of advanced age, he's beginning to show signs of advanced age, in that his judgments and his pronouncements show that his age is now affecting his judgment. So really, if they manage to convene within the 48 hours, then things might actually, because the Central Committee has the power to immediately recall President Robert Mugabe. And the other condition that they want is that they want former Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa reinstated, because the provinces are saying that formally the Central Committee never met to endorse his expulsion. So he's still, according to them, the Vice President or the Second Secretary of the party, so he can then immediately take over if they recall President Robert Mugabe. So it's very interesting. You know, it's been building up. Even if right now the situation as it stands, even if the military do not succeed in their efforts to get President Robert Mugabe to step down, the party has mobilized to make sure that he is constitutionally relieved of his duties. You also understand that civil society has also been calling for a march tomorrow to come in numbers and demonstrate that they want President Robert Mugabe to go. So everything right now as we speak, Peter, is pointing to a situation where everyone is now calling for President Robert Mugabe to relinquish power. And right now, all his supporters, all the support that he enjoyed less than a week ago has just disappeared, is nowhere to be seen. And it's really interesting as to where really it is that we are going. But it seems that maybe come end of next week, President Mugabe won't be in power.
But Effort, where have these supporters gone? He had these massive rallies, people supporting him. What has happened to all these people?
Interestingly, his biggest supporter, if you remember, was the Youth League. And they were the first ones to climb down. Remember, in their statement on Tuesday morning, they said they would die for President Robert Mugabe. But on Wednesday evening, they were singing a different tune. The Secretary for Youth Affairs was saying, no, he erred and he was misinformed. So really, I think is that sentiment or that pronouncement really kind of, I think it showed the beginning of the turn of the tide that the support for Robert Mugabe was slowly and beginning to, one off.
Emmerson Mnangagwa still underground, not saying anything. He hasn't spoken. Has he been seen?
He hasn't been seen, but like I indicated, that the provinces are calling for him to be reinstated. So even if he remains underground, by end of this weekend, if the Central Committee manages to meet on over the weekend in the 48 hours that they have asked for, he'll probably emerge from his hiding, or he'll probably emerge from the underground where he's been all this while.
All right, perhaps a final question. We know that the army is effectively in control of the country. Who's in control of Zanu-PF right now?
I would say the army. 2 days ago, we drove past the Zanu-PF headquarters, and we got pictures which we have been playing of the Zanu-PF headquarters under military guard. There is a single army tank, and we noticed about 6 army personnel at the Zanu-PF headquarters, and the building is under lockdown. So effectively, it means the army are in control of both the party and the government. Peter.
All right, effort. We'll leave it there for the time being. Thanks very much indeed for that update. So you get lots of sources, lots of people tweeting what they think they know, but what we know for certain is that we don't know anything. And we'll continue to watch what's happening in Zimbabwe. I'm sure when the authorities are ready, they'll let us know what's next for the country.